Alright, part 4, the cigarette diet. You are now ready to start the actual process of becoming a non-smoker. A new and better epoch in your life is about to begin. 19. Making the commitment. This part of the book will take you step by step at your own pace from the status of the smoker to the non-smoker. It's obvious that you already reached some kind of decision about your smoking. You haven't been taking the time and trouble to read this from the book. Clearly, you have done because you're not comfortable with your smoking complex and seeing some other way to escape it. The least solution with the grip on it with the imaginary instant switch of pills you introduction existed and wouldn't happily take them, you want to be a non-smoker. Have been coming for over the side of this much, even over the standpoint of committing yourself as a smoker watcher program. It will become much like a situation in which you commit yourself to pull out and passing over their car on a highway, proper way to go about this over this car, but to do all hesitating, all your calculation of the distance, speed, and risk, all your decisions you're making before and pulling out behind the other car once you pulled out over the command, committed yourself to the course of action. You fell with this surely firm with no other hesitation. You assume your own decision was a sound one, you null it and worry over it no more. Otherwise, the whole course of action may come to nothing. If the overtake with the other car and decisively hits into you may lose your chance. All facts of this for the original decision was base may change. Your other car with both moving on the highway, you reach a curve, the other car comes coming toward you around the curve, you must pull back in your same position you started at, another change is not present in itself for a long time. The same rules about the decision making apply with any of the contemplated course of action. Must reach at the point where you're satisfied with done with the preliminary thinking that can reasonably expect with yourself to do so. But then when all of the factors weighed, you make the decision to go and not to go. With the cogitate, no longer ever the decision is made. Once you've committed, you go. Your aim now is to make the firm commitment you must decide that you want to follow the smoker's watcher's course through its completion. To help you make the commitment, we suggest that you take the steps. 1. Read part 1 of the book. Understand thoroughly where the world's tobacco habit came from, how the individual smoker was paroled into the international disaster. Try to outside yourself temporarily. See particularly how you are pressured into starting smoking, then into continuing first by society, next by forces within you, and it's essential for the understanding these things in order to develop a clear idea where you go from there and how and why. Pay special attention to point with the part 1 about the nature of the tobacco addiction and the physical addiction, predominantly not entirely psychological one. It can be defeated only in psychological means. For this reason, may be the attitude becoming important far more than they may look at a glance. 2. To go over the list of reasons why you want to begin non-smoke. The list began with the reading in Chapter 4. Edit the list for the further still the when you consider the final form. Any of the new reasons to the list, everything occurred, shuffle and reshuffle the items to order. The important if you're unsatisfied with the list, say what you want to say. Make the list final and complete at this point of the part with the commitment making in the process. You down doubt with the left in your mind that cigarettes must be part company. No matter how much you think of like them, that list is why you don't like them. 3. Understanding why you are about to embark on a particular program instead of going cold turkey and taking other possible routes. Chapter 5 and 6. Must have enough faith in the program to prevent you from halting in mid-course, turning into some other direction. It's true, but almost from the back and climbing toward almost any goal life that you can reasonably expect with the travel to the uniform street with a particular straight line without interruption thereby. Some days when it goes slower than others, there may be times you slide backward briefly with a disappointment and frustration, irritation. This isn't what you want a smoker's group to ways like. This is what life is if you would be say with the other, with the opposite, with the can, with we are in business and selling dream with the dreams can be perfect, what their life never is. But although you can change the imperfect nature of the life, you can very effectively prepare for it by be ready for the coming day with the disappointment when your campaign fails to go fast and smoothly as you dreamed. When such day comes, you'll stay with your campaign if you committed yourself to firm enough beforehand, which means now. Alright, 4. Reread Chapter 7, in which you have the key question of the attitude. Fix your mind that you aren't about to quit something pleasant. You're about to quit something pleasant. You aren't about to quit something pleasant or good. You aren't about to test your willpower with a deal, display a stoicism, or being a martyr. You're about to reach a good brand new success. Stand by the dividing line between the not so good life and the better life. Problem attitude absolutely cannot be emphasized too strongly with any smoke with a try to come in a faulty attitude signal reason for a failure. 5. Mull over what kind of anti-smoking group you wish to join, or if you don't want to join any, consider the other smoker whether you can approve of the makeup of the informal circle with a way will get a beneficial, benevolent social pressure will be guided in what thinking of the principles outlined in Chapter 8. The overacting of the joining with a group and the rounding up of the informal circle of the will be less simulation, simultaneously with the interact with the making your commitment, and in fact, will reinforce my commitment when feel with the psychological read made with the commitment with the attitude feel with the right when the enthusiastic about the program when you're eager to step across the threshold of the new and better life and then join with the group and then around with the other smokers. Meanwhile, with the limbo-like stage before the commitment they actually made, you spend with a week or so the asking question, investigating possibility found without what group exists in your vicinity. You'll find many of the advertised, publicized in paper, TVs, radios, and other not public, don't publicize themselves within strenuously, but you can often find out about many of them by asking questions from the doctor, local county medical society, nearby city, county public health offices, local office official health foundations such as the American Cancer Society, or playing with a roundup of the informal circle with instead of joining an established group and spending the next several days talking casually to other smokers about the tobacco complex, even the feelings of the carefully note the ones of the unhappy were about what they were try to determine which one if approached with the right way. Chapter 8 again wouldn't want to join you in your climatic success. Alright, don't start thinking about the partner in Chapter 9. This aspect of the partner program will be taken care of a little later. 6. With the making of the commitment as for the intermental act, but sometimes tend to be vague within some intangible. It doesn't feel real, but to make it tangible should be accompanied within reinforced with some overact as an act whose result you could see and then touch. One on such an act will be the act of joining a group and associating yourself with the informal smoker circle. But at this point, with the point of committing yourself with the actual sliding into the group, you actually ask other smokers to join you with the reach for success. But there's another overact that can perform with it still sooner. You draw the signal sign of the contract with yourself. The contract need only to be a short, simple sentence. The only reason writing it is to provide as an overt accomplishment of the inner mental act of the commitment. It may seem superficial, but it isn't to take it seriously. Sign it when you really mean it. Today, on this day, I've decided to become a non-smoker. Signature. Stage 1, time period on 1 of 4 weeks. Goal, eliminate the most cigarettes rated 1 and 2. And 1 attending preferably weak in the anti-tobacco group, arranging to get together with your informal circle once a week, therefore more often to meet with a course of better. 2. From within the group, pair yourself with a partner on a basis outlined Chapter 9 in order to preference with your partner, stranger, nearby stranger, same sex, casual acquaintance with the same sex, stranger near, stranger of the opposite sex, casual acquaintance of the opposite sex, a close friend of either sex, and only at last resort relative to either sex with your spouse. Be arranged with a daily telephone date with your partner. Give your partner a general daily, weekly schedule for the coming, for the going, for including your phone with the numbers where you can most likely be reached at various times, day at work. Get similar schedule with them. These schedules are for a year for the making the emergency call when necessary. If you're not grouping with the meeting informally gathered once a week, try to arrange at least once weekly face-to-face meeting with your partner. And forest all with the countervailing press explained with Chapter 10. Do the same time as we're going together between benevolent pressure groups, since you know your own family and circle of friends better than anyone else. You have to use your own judgment about whether you show the people the letter printed in this book, read over the type of the letter first, pin it, and do a bullet but more places somewhere other prominent location that will be seen in the red, paraphrase it, and simply talk about it. 4. Simultaneously get a supply of a line paper to draw with yourself with the rating forms explained with Chapter 11. You will need one for each each day smoking with us. Enter program now with a 2-pack of the day smoking reform with the first stage. You'll need with 40 lines, 1 in each cigarette. Maintain the forms faithfully every day from the now, or take them with them whenever you go. Show them the partner and study these forms whenever you meet. Discuss them freely with the other members of the group. 5. Beginning maintaining your daily counting form and explain with Chapter 12. Start with the day after you make with a commitment, and you only with the one such form to take through for the entire program. You can draw up your own wish for you can use the form on a printed page 108. The form covers the 26 weeks. Very few smokers take long to succeed. It's all likelihood you will be a non-smoker before you're using the whole form. With the right-hand column on the form and straight with the wear of the right end of the each for the ends of the important next week quota. Be sure to do this present in order of the preference you enter for the group. This members of the group, at the very at least, your partner discuss the goal each week with the other group member. With your partner made them more fully and frankly you discuss it, more effective the balance full social pressure will be. Alright, 6th. Beginning maintaining weekly progress chart as explained in Chapter 12. You need only one such chart with the daily coming form of the eve of the drawn up with the own. One printed in this book with the page 110 in this chapter with the daily food cover for the period of 26 weeks. Show the progress chart with the others in your group, including the partner, discuss it freely as progress throughout the program. 7. Beginning changing your smoker's stick to automatically move with it associated with the smoking. Explain with Chapter 14. Difficult to change all of these move at once, not because of the particular hard light change themselves, but because there are so many with it hard to keep all of these in mind with the ones that have habitual automatic, each required with the consciously effort to be eliminated. Thus, you should be concentrated with the 2-4 each week with the startling now and the end of the watch of the fade with the stage 2 with at least half of the should be defeated with the time in stage 1 at this point with the concentrate particularly on one the brand type of the cigarette smoke place with the purchase location serve with a pocket hand and bag manner of lighting cigarette mannering holding cigarette lip and grip. 8. Become generally aware of the normal food and be given an informal catalog fattening item to diet, normal diet with abandon with the most easily later with the proof of the necessary with the earmarked to self-ship if you don't for not but the food that not enjoy the greatly. They should be foods that can be abandoned without missing them. Bread eating the dinner, perhaps the sugar-free with a coffee. However, don't abandon these items yet. Weigh yourself once a week, spread with some kind of increase the weight, but do not be concerned with the body with the point where they seem to alarming quick at the first quick temporary weight gain is normal. If you struggle with the man, been taking a multivitamin supplement, start now. If you have some special dietary weight problem, of course, an entire food program should be planned and carried out under the direction of the doctor. Treatment at stage 1 is essential process of getting an immersed for the orientated within this program. No particular goal with the term number of cigarettes smoked per day. Without explaining with the chapter 2 of the very active use of the rating of the average day will very likely cause quick eye drop of the smoking level to eliminating many of the other formative robot cigarettes. The unlit with the really beginning aware of the lighting. Them cigarettes will don't enjoy the much of it all with the 1 and 2, but they will quite probably get automatically with a little effort for the part with some of the same effort. Some of the effort required in this case limit cigarettes. Make the effort. It won't be hard as you've learned hard. Drop the fast drop in the smoking level. Usually experience stage 1. Probably not to continue in stage 2 and stage 3, but it doesn't expect it to continue. Don't be discouraged when it doesn't. There's no particular boundary line at the end of stage 1 and mark over the off at stage 2 with your phases 1 with the other gradual stage 2. Essentially, reaffirmation, consolidation, stage 1. Alright, stage 1, time period 1 to 6 weeks. Go over the reduced smoking level between 20 cigarettes a day. Continue meeting with the group and staying with the close touch with the partner. Continue to maintain rating form the daily counting weekly progress chart. Continue to show with them, discuss with others, and group it including your partner. 3. Continue work chain with the smokers. Stay with the entire array of habitual movements of a complete chain with the time with each of the reach and with the static stage 2. The essential of the take of between gone before cigarettes with them are gone. Concentrate. Ashtray system manner. Tapping ash to cigarette point. All that shit. 4A, continue eliminating at least wanted cigarette using your 1s and 2s. Most of them will probably be taking themselves at stage 1. The must be robot cigarettes needed only to recognize the slash or eliminated worthwhile. However, the M1s of the 2 remain with the daily rating forms, beginning deliberately eliminating that at the point. Number 1 and 2 should remain at the end of stage 2. Aim to reduce smoking at a level of between 20 cigarettes a day. By the time you reach the end of the stage 2, this may anyway be 1 to 6 weeks, depending and level start on which speed with which you would like to go. Calculating coming week the goals daily conform in the chapter 12 with this sign for smokers. Reduction of smoking level to about 10% of the week reasonable. Thus, the example is suppose you enter the program a level of 45 cigarettes a day. Over the last year, the 18 with a robot, 18 was a robot. Let's say 18 were robot cigarettes were rapidly disappeared with the F1 according starting a rating started stage form 1. Thus entered in stage box 2 levels and 27 cigarettes a day. Running week goals might look like this. First week, stage 2, 24 cigarettes. Second stage, 21. Third week, 19. Point, reaching 19 cigarettes a day. Particular example, you would be ready to move on to stage 2. And aiming from stage 2 will go fewer than 20 cigarettes a day, probably be necessary to eliminate at least 3, or as well as eliminating 1s and 2s. Particularly 3s don't seem strongly connected to any particular sub-habit. Pick up those that I think will be more easy. Alright, 5. You've now accumulated enough daily rating forms of the major patterns of the smoking with the complex of begin to stand out, and analyze your rating form with the informing you leave the stage 2. Discuss them with your partner, others in your group, at the beginning, picking out, identifying your major sub-habits as. Explained in Chapter 13, however, we don't try with the formal habits of listening at this point, beginning to analyze the nature of each of the major sub-habits that become with apparent. You've enough that each of the sub-habits dominating one of more, 4 or 5. These are cigarettes that you've attacked with stage 3. Don't worry about them too seriously, and they're in stage 2. Just begin knowing them or not be aware. 6. Continue analyzing the food intake. Continue weigh yourself weekly. The weight of the increase with more than 10% of the starting at a program, beginning with the control of the food taken and explained with the chapter 17. The degree of the control should be moderate and comfortable. Should be enough to maintain the present weight, but don't try to lose weight at this point. Don't put yourself on the stringent food diet. 7. Begin now with the entry of the extra grain, the end of the life with the experience with the chapter 15, not particular over the preference that these can be. Sport or other activities involving exercise, activities don't involve the exercise, whether the throw together, the other people to leave with the club, of civil origin, bridge games, etc. Hobbies with the other sedentary activities in which you are most alone. Food, chewing gum, hard candy isn't necessary to concentrate particularly on any of the one categories, in fact, preferably not. Concentrate mixed variety with new ingredients into the life. In pursuing the extra ingredients, pay careful attention for the risk. Chapter 5 of attitudes. I think any such ingredient substitute with a cigarette. Do not pursue any of its grim, self-denying, martyred frame of mind. If it's something you enjoy wholeheartedly, forget it. Such ingredients do take half of the effect with the taking mind off the cigarettes, but actively categorizing them such as paradoxically dilutes even the destroyed with the effect. Sometime during progress with the stage 2 that you begin with a notice of the minor withdrawal symptoms, consult with the 16 with advice for the most common and with the kinds. Systems seem with the severe with the worries, laugh for any of the reasons, consult with the doctor. Likelihood, most symptoms will bear noticeable, will vary in a few days. Achievement of stage 2. By the time you reach the end of stage 2, you will have completely eliminated your smoker's stick, reduced the smoking level to between 20 cigarettes a day. When you've achieved this, you can consider yourself ready to move on to the last stage. Number 1s and number 2s are gone, as well the problem with number 3s, the only cigarettes that will show. On one of the dating ranges are 4 and 5s remaining in the next stage. Will attack with these cigarettes and make state take more than effect than either for the first stage of the stage 3, most rewarding of all. Stage 3 time period 4, 16 weeks, guide to becoming a converted non-smoker. Maintain all forms and control of the daily routine with now fewer than 20 lines long. 2. Continue getting better together with a group of the part of the near of the beneficial social prep is extremely important. The save of the someone that the smoker to vibe with the need to ask for it. 3. Make a formal habit of explaining with the chapter 13 living needed data for the past week and rating form of the list will show all the sub-habits that are making the cigarettes that are associated with each of the habits a day. Mental categorize all sub-habits, either the major or minor, but the general rule of thumb can probably consider sub-habit major. It consists of 4 major cigarettes. To almost all of the cigarettes associated with the rated 4 or 5, regardless of how many there are. How do they apply with these figures? Regimen mechanically a sub-habit of the major. If you feel the major to you, that is personally considered an important part of the smoking complex. You with the physiological and then the not arithmetic. You feel that it is important that what's from the arithmetic formula may seem to say. Now pick up one sub-habit to deliberately eliminate all of the orders in Chapter 11, 13. Minor sub-habit, you can probably kill it all at one blow. A for the major, for the instead of the break-in, 2 for the 2 or more. For the example, A for the coffee, 2 for the cigarette, for the major and complex, perhaps this you can eliminate for the boring coffee cigarette first. Later turn your attention to the others. Don't try to go fast. Eliminate no more than one sub-habit per week and go even slower than that. You wish that don't attack the second sub-habit until the habit to be the first feel comfortable about it. In general, try to alert major minor sub-habit that attack even the major one, which may take 2 weeks for the turn attention for the next 2 for the less of the difficult minor one, or wish to the sandwich and make minor one into the middle and a major one, for instance, of the attack of the morning, coffee cigarettes for 1 week with a minor sub-habit, the next week with the remaining of the coffee cigarette for the week after that. Discover the process constantly with a partner, otherwise in this group, asking them how to tackle the various sub-habits that may be similar to those, as each sub-habit has disappeared cross off of your habit list. Alright, continue with the process until you reach the 0 line weekly progress chart, but don't necessarily expect yourself to get there perfectly straight line, no interpretation. Don't discourage yourself with a backslide occasionally. Some smokers get in 0 in the 4 weeks, and some take as many as 16. Be alert with the reappearance of the smoke at this time in the limited stage 1 and 2. The bids of please pretend to creep back into your complex without being aware of them. Consult Chapter 14. Can you watch your weight and height and necessarily moderate with the food intake with the as before? Expand your area with sports and hobbies over the extra green in Chapter 5. As you move with the state of the 2, with the move of the large, and with your energy, with the need of the rest. Run more actively, don't let get caught in the stroke of the long energy with no natural outlets for it. You begin preparing outlets in stage 2, but not sure they're making every great feature. You have the outlets for the preparing still others in a future. Some withdrawal systems more intensified with them during state, but no ones may appear with as before constant extended guidance. Be very careful to maintain an successful attitude with the although the state with the third stage with the usually longest is the way with the top of the 2 with the 3 with the many smoke with the trouble in their way through stage 1 and 2 with the faulty martyred or low attitude, but in stage 3 such an attitude would be very handicapped and in likelihood would totally defeat with the campaign to maintain a successful attitude. Reread Chapter 7. So your list of reasons being a non-smoker and discuss them with other smoke watchers. Time comes to find yourself with descending with self-pity, character of the ingredients you have with them will continue to add to your life, recognize with the new enjoyment, all the new activities, new interesting people who are absent from your life being embarked on this program. 4. Be careful on guard against self-pity with the trouble that insomnia life effects during this stage. Consult Chapter 16, the guidance on this point. What they're up against for the likelihood is not in true insomnia, but a simply result of being healthier, sleeping more soundly, and eating fewer hours in bed. The effect may start with it being apparent where we're in stage 2, but it usually becomes more here in stage 3 as a permanent effect. You're healthier and more energetic and will. For the most of the remainder of your life, you'll have to get used to the health. As approach 0 of the Chapter 18, thoroughly understand what would be likely confirmed with a non-smoker. Here's before the main problem, one with the attitude with the tendency to feel sorry for yourself, the will not, might. Lose you the game for yourself, and sorry for everyone, sorry for the other smoker if they won't have succeed, but it's unashamed of it, and self-righteous or arrogant. Those youthful emotions, in your case, you deserve the swagger a little bit, after all, with your success. Don't serve contact with a group or partner a week with each 0 of the day with a touch with them on a gradual withdrawing base, never several weeks. Phase out of the trickle slowly, no, not abruptly. It will take several weeks to become completely comfortable with a new non-smoking habit. There may be sometimes when you need group benevolent social pressure advice. Achievement of stage 2, 3. You're now a non-smoker. No amount of embellishment could add to the glory of the simple statement. Nothing we can say with conceivably increase the sheer power of those of the few short words. So we merely say them again. You are not a smoker. And that was the Smoker's Watcher's How-To Quick Guide. book.